Hello everyone. As you can see, maybe if you're an avid watcher, I'm in Manchester. Oh shit, I'm in Manchester. Came over yesterday morning. Got a new, something new happening. Something new. A new thing. Me and Pat Brown doing a thing. I don't think I'm allowed to say yet, because it's not actually a thing yet. We did record 2 episodes for it to hopefully become a thing. If the powers that be like it, it'll become a thing. We did 2 episodes yesterday. That's going to get edited up and sent to the bosses, and hopefully it'll become a thing. Me and Pat will have our own thing. So, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a podcast. Is it a podcast? Not everything's a podcast, is it? Some things are just a video. People say to me, you should do a podcast. I've got a YouTube channel. I do videos on there. What is a podcast? What is a very good question, actually. What is a podcast? I think it's like I don't know what it is. What is a podcast? This is a video. I'd call it YouTube. On YouTube, we do videos on, is it on Apple thing? The Apple Music thing, that's a podcast. This is technically the same as a podcast. But no one actually, you don't pay for YouTube, I don't think, do you? I don't. Pay for my phone, pay for the internet. I guess I pay for it in some capacity. But people to do a podcast. So I might be doing one anyway. But YouTube's good, isn't it? People pay to not have adverts apparently, but I won't do that. I'll just wait 5 seconds. We get the minute long ones. I feel like from a remote at telly, but I'm not paying to have no adverts. So anyway, what the fuck am I on about? Came over here yesterday. So if you look at me, I look a bit tired. Woke up at 6 o'clock Monday to train Hayden. Did a bit of pads. He's fighting Friday. We'll start there, actually. His title fight fell through. He was fighting for the Commonwealth Silver welterweight title. So about 10 weeks ago, I spoke with the Commonwealth board. That was the title vacant. Joe's a super lightweight. He can diet down to 10-7. If you're doing that in modern day boxing, you're not big enough at you're not that weight. So it's a super lightweight. But I said, look, for the Commonwealth Silver, if we're getting the right opponent, we'll box for the welterweight title. So found a guy from Ghana. It took us a long time to get an opponent, to be honest. We got a Ghanaian fellow, maybe 5 weeks to go. He'd won 11 and lost 1. Now, by no means was he bad. He weren't bad. But he was a super lightweight as well. Him and Joe were both super lightweights, really, boxing for the welterweight title. But that's all right, really. I thought, oh, that's fine. We'll win that and we'll vacate and move back down the weight to super lightweight and keep building towards the British title. And so everything was all good until the other day. Got a message that this visa's not sure I'm going to get the visa in time. I said, what do you mean? Still not sure, but that's not my job, really. So he has a new opponent now. It's a non-title fight, and he's heartbroken. And we got a few replacement offers for replacements. Now the top and bottom small of boxing is for Joe sold a lot of tickets, but you have sanctioning fees. They have to pay a purse for a 10-round purse. So we was going to clear about $2,000 for 10 rounds, which is horrific, to be honest. Really bad. And I don't feel any pride in saying, oh, my kid's going to get $2,000 for 10 rounds. But we said, look, to pick this title up in a winnable fight, he's going to box for that amount of money. He's well sponsored. So he's like, you know what, we'll do it. When that fight fell through, we then got offered, and I don't mind saying this, Fraser Wilkinson, who just knocked Crawler out. And I thought, is Joe Hayden going to box in for $2,000? No, Harvey Lambert, that's 2. They mentioned Elliot Whale. I think they offered it to everybody, basically. But the likes of Fraser Wilkinson and Harvey Lambert, who were brilliant fighters up at welterweight, it's just a no-go, and not for a couple of grand either, There's a lot of money on the table. You know what, Joe, if you fancy a crack at it, have a crack at it. But I'd have still been against it because they're too big for him. They're too good to be too big, if that makes sense. You can get away with boxing a big one that's not great, but you can't get away with boxing a big one that's good. So even if you got offered $20,000, I'd probably said, it's not the right fight, mate. To be honest, you're not skint. So we're not back a few fights. To be honest, I'm not back a few fights. Joe and the riders, I said, look, they're not the right fight. You can't box him for $2,000. You just can't. So he has a fight now. He's fighting a Brazilian fella. And then March, we go down to 10 stone and we fight a title. And if this happens again and a short notice a replacement comes in, and even if they're good, we're not at super lightweight, he's pretty much ready to box anybody, domestically, apart from Dalton Smith, obviously, but, domestic level ones, we're ready. So a lot of people ask me about that. That's what happened. I'm not a bullshit, I'll tell you the truth. I knocked back a few kids for him because he's not big enough at the weight. We thought we had a title fight and an opponent, it fell through, and that was it, really. Joe's heartbroken. He wanted to box. He'd box anybody, but I just said, look, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? You wouldn't, really. So we didn't. We have a replacement. He's still ready to go. Friday, the show's still on. Joe's on. Calvin Mayo, 2-0. I train and manage him. He's on the Sam Lightfoot, who I manage. She has a pro debut. We'd like to get some wins together. She's a bantamweight. She's pretty good. Tia Hayden is still there looking, I presume, for British opponents. If Sam gets a few wins, that's a fight for the British title, hopefully. I think Tia's an exceptional talent, and I'm mates with a good friend of one of the coaches, actually, but that's the only fight. Tia Hayden's the biggest name in British boxing for the women, in my opinion, at the moment. She's great, but that's the plan there with that one. So yeah, then from here on, we have 9 other fights. Lewis Booth, Will Harrison for the Central Area title at welterweight. It's the main event. So I'm looking forward to it. Good night at Donny Dome, hopefully. In other news, boxing news, Fabio Wardley, world heavyweight champion, and I'm happy for him. I think the way I look at it is, so when me and Johnny Fisher boxed in May, David Adelaide was the champion. So me and Johnny weren't for the British title because Adelaide had the title. But if I'd have beat Johnny, then a few weeks later, the British Boxing Board said, you know what, Dave, Adelaide's vacated. You can have the British title now, you're the champion. I wouldn't have liked it because I would want to win it in the ring in a British title fight. So for me, Fabio Wardley beating Parker makes him world championship material, to be honest. But and I mean, he'll be buzzing and he's world champion. He'll get world champion money next time. But I felt for him a bit because I thought you want to become that. You want to become a champion in the ring in a fight. You don't want it via email. So I'm not digging him out because I think the Parker win was worthy of being a champion. And that fight, if Usyk would have vacated, would have been for the title. But I think title should be won in the ring, to be honest. Yeah, but he's champion, and congratulations to him. Other news, cracking card this weekend. I've had a little bit of a look. Obviously, I'll go over it this weekend's boxing. Sam Noakes, Abdullah Mason. Been watching them both. I mean, I've watched a bit of Noakes, I've watched a bit of Mason. I looked at the odds. And I'll finish this video by saying Sam Noakes. I fancy Sam Noakes to win.